The Hindenburg disaster, minute by minute. At 7:25 p.m. on May 6, 1937, the largest flying object ever created was making its final approach to Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey. The LZ-129 Hindenburg, a marvel of German engineering stretching 804 feet from nose to tail, carried 97 souls aboard what should have been a routine landing. In less than a minute, this symbol of technological triumph would become aviation's most horrifying catastrophe, captured on film and broadcast to a shocked world. What happened in those crucial 36 seconds would haunt eyewitnesses for decades and forever change how humanity viewed the skies. Captain Max Pruss peers through the control car windows as the Hindenburg descends through the gray New Jersey sky. Rain pelts the massive silver envelope above, each drop streaking across the taut fabric skin that contains over 7 million cubic feet of hydrogen gas. The captain has made this transatlantic crossing dozens of times, but today feels different. Weather delays have pushed their arrival hours behind schedule, and static electricity crackles ominously in the humid air. In the passenger compartments, 36 travelers, wealthy businessmen, socialites, and adventurers, prepare for landing. They've paid the equivalent of $8,000 in today's money for this luxury experience, dining on fine cuisine while gliding silently across the Atlantic at 80 miles per hour. Mrs. Margaret Mather adjusts her hat and gathers her belongings, unaware that she has mere minutes to live. Ground crew members at Lakehurst Naval Air Station squint upward as the Hindenburg emerges from the low-hanging clouds like a leviathan from the depths. Over 200 men stand ready with landing ropes, their faces turned skyward toward the approaching giant. Among them is radio reporter Herbert Morrison, whose breathless commentary will soon capture one of history's most tragic moments. Inside the airship, Chief Rigger Ludwig Knorr conducts his final inspection of the gas cells. The Hindenburg's skeleton of aluminum girders houses 16 separate hydrogen compartments, each one a potential bomb waiting for the right spark. Knorr notices unusual stress on some of the wires near the rear of the ship, a detail that will later prove crucial to understanding the disaster. The German crew of 61 men moves with practiced efficiency, but there's an undercurrent of tension. Several experienced airship pilots have refused to fly on hydrogen-filled vessels, preferring the safety of helium. But the U.S. embargo on helium exports to Nazi Germany has left the Hindenburg dependent on the highly flammable gas that gives it its remarkable lifting power. Captain Pruss orders the engines reversed to slow their approach. The four massive Mercedes-Benz diesel engines, mounted in gondolas along the hull, roar to life in reverse thrust. Below, spectators gather despite the drizzling rain. Watching an airship landing remains a spectacular sight in 1937, like witnessing a floating city descend from the heavens. Radio operator Willie Speck taps out a final message to the ground station. Approaching field. Everything normal. Those three words will haunt investigators for years to come. Everything appears normal, yet somewhere within the Hindenburg's massive frame, conditions are aligning for catastrophe. The airship's altitude drops to 200 feet, then 150, then 100. At this height, passengers can see individual faces in the crowd below. Some wave from the windows, excited to complete their aerial voyage. The American flag and Nazi swastika flutter side by side from the airship's tail, a symbol of the uneasy diplomatic relations between the two nations. Ground crew members grab the landing ropes dropped from the Hindenburg's nose. The massive airship, longer than the Titanic, settles into position for mooring. In the control car, Captain Pruss feels a moment of relief. They're almost home. But 200 feet above, something is terribly wrong. Witnesses later report seeing a small flame, no larger than a candle, dancing along the airship's skin near the rear fin. Hydrogen, invisible to the naked eye, has begun leaking from a ruptured gas cell. The exact cause remains debated: a broken wire, static electricity, even sabotage. But the result is the same. The most flammable gas known to science has found its spark. A flash appears near the Hindenburg's tail fin, so brief that many witnesses miss it entirely. But in that instant, the escaping hydrogen ignites, creating a small flame that begins to spread with terrifying speed. The fire races along the outer skin of the airship, consuming the fabric covering and exposing the aluminum framework beneath. Inside gas cell number 4, the temperature spikes to over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit in seconds. The hydrogen inside doesn't explode, it burns, creating a blowtorch effect that instantly weakens the airship's structure. The Hindenburg begins its death throes. The fire reaches the main body of the airship, and suddenly the night sky erupts in orange flame. What started as a small flicker becomes a towering inferno reaching 500 feet into the air. The Hindenburg's tail section collapses first, sending the rear of the airship plummeting toward the ground. Passengers in the dining room feel the floor tilt violently beneath their feet. Chairs and tables slide toward the rear as gravity takes hold. Some realize immediately what's happening. Others remain stunned by the sudden chaos. The lucky ones are near windows. The unlucky ones are trapped in the center of what has become a flying furnace. Captain Pruss, still in the control car at the front of the airship, watches in horror as his ship disintegrates around him. The aluminum framework, heated to extreme temperatures, begins to buckle and twist. The Hindenburg, once a symbol of human achievement, transforms into a skeletal dragon-breathing fire. With the rear section consumed by flames, passengers and crew face a desperate choice: jump from the burning airship or ride it to the ground. Some leap from windows 100 feet above the earth, preferring the quick death of impact to the agony of burning alive. Others cling to whatever they can find, praying the airship's descent will be survivable. Ground crew members scatter as the blazing wreckage plummets toward them. The landing ropes they were holding become deadly whips of flame. Several brave souls run toward the crash site, even as the inferno grows, knowing that lives hang in the balance. Herbert Morrison, the radio reporter, begins his famous commentary. "It's burst into flames. Get out of the way, please. Oh my, this is terrible." His voice cracks with emotion as he witnesses the unthinkable unfold before his eyes. The Hindenburg's control car, with Captain Pruss still inside, smashes into the New Jersey soil with tremendous force. The impact is heard for miles, a thunderous crash followed by the roar of flames consuming 7 million cubic feet of hydrogen. The airship's aluminum skeleton collapses like a house of cards, trapping victims beneath twisted metal and burning fabric. But miraculously, some survive. The control car's heavy construction protects several crew members, including Captain Pruss, who emerges with severe burns but alive. Passengers who jumped at the right moment land in sandy soil that cushions their fall. Others find themselves thrown clear by the impact, battered but breathing. In just 36 seconds, the age of passenger airships ends forever. The Hindenburg, once the pinnacle of luxury travel, lies in smoldering ruins across the Lakehurst field. Of the 97 people aboard, 35 passengers and crew members perish, along with one ground crew member. It's a miracle that anyone survives at all. The flames continue to burn for hours, fed by the airship's diesel fuel and the remnants of its hydrogen gas. Rescue workers pull survivors from the wreckage, while photographers and newsreel cameras capture images that will define the disaster for generations. The footage, broadcast worldwide, shows the shocking speed with which humanity's greatest flying machine became its greatest aerial tragedy. The Hindenburg disaster effectively ended the era of passenger airships. Within months, remaining passenger dirigibles were grounded permanently. The public's faith in hydrogen-filled aircraft evaporated as quickly as the Hindenburg's gas cells had erupted. Airlines with heavier-than-air craft quickly filled the void, leading to the airline industry we know today. Herbert Morrison's emotional radio broadcast, with its famous cry of "Oh, the humanity," became one of the most replayed audio recordings in history. His raw, unscripted reaction captured the world's horror at witnessing such rapid destruction of human life and technological achievement. The investigation that followed revealed the deadly combination of factors that sealed the Hindenburg's fate: hydrogen gas, static electricity, and perhaps a small structural failure that allowed the gas to escape. Modern analysis suggests that if the airship had been filled with helium as originally planned, the disaster would never have occurred. But history turned on those 36 seconds in 1937, when the sky caught fire above New Jersey and an age of aviation died in flames. The Hindenburg disaster stands as a stark reminder that in the pursuit of technological achievement, the margin between triumph and tragedy can be measured not in years or months, but in mere seconds. 36 seconds that changed the world forever.